Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for coming out to today's 1 Million Cups. A couple quick announcements. One, we have a special promo that's going to be happening on March 9th from Crescendo. They're going to come in and do a pour-over service for us, which is a method of making coffee. I'm sure some of our coffee connoisseurs in the room can elaborate on that a little bit more. But it's going to be pretty special and delicious. And that week we also have Lee Mills and from NBC 15 and her husband coming to present about Studio 88. So that should be pretty exciting. They have their own production company. Today, of course, we're excited for Square Harvest. I actually placed my first order this week, and I'm excited that they're going to be doing free workplace delivery. So keep that in mind as you watch this presentation. Again, we're thankful for our sponsors, Field 59, who has been getting a ton of press. So, Catherine, I don't know if you can elaborate when the mic goes around, but I think you guys have some pretty cool accolades to share. We're also thankful for Nordic for sponsoring the coffee today, and to Crescendo for providing us with the delicious coffee. So, at that, my name's Rachel Neal. I work at Nordic, and I'm also one of the organizers of 1 Million Cups.
Kurt Peterson, co-founder of 32 Auctions.
Steve Claude, co-founder of 32 Auctions, which is a platform for hosting and managing silent auction fundraisers.
Tom Willis, I'm a software engineering consultant.
Molly Siegel, I'm an account manager at Talavant. We are a business intelligence consulting startup here in town.
Jana Breen, I work at Nordic with Rachel.
My name is Ed Graves. I'm a business librarian here at the library.
Hi, I'm Karina Craid. I'm the co-founder of Mogamind.
I'm Abby Taubner. I work over at Generator, the startup accelerator, and I'm also a community organizer for the Milwaukee chapter of 1 Million Cups.
Garrett Lee, founder and co-creator of Whoa, We Help One Another and Good Point.
Timothy Flores, software consultant.
Spencer Fricky, I'm UW student.
Drew Corson, attorney at Knight & Boucher. And an organizer of 1 Million Cups. Not that I'm ashamed of that or anything, I just always kind of forget, and I don't really do much, so.
Catherine, do you want to give a few words? Anything about the press from Field 59? Well, thank you everyone for the introductions, and we'll turn it over.
Okay. Hi, I'm Madhvi. I'm the founder of Square Harvest. So I'm a computer scientist, so that's my background. I'm very passionate about food, so it was a good marriage between what I was trained and skilled to do and what I was really passionate about. So Square Harvest is really the 21st century way to shop for groceries. Last week when Johnny Hunter was here, he was talking about, eating like your grandmom, and that's like, the new thing. And what we focus on is like, how do you shop like your grandmom? How do you shop for fresh food from local farms with a great connection to the people who grow them? And that was the case even like a few decades ago. We did kind of digress, go into the whole supermarket rhyme where we thought we need like 40,000 items to shop from every single week. But even though if you look at the biodiversity of the things that come in, it's literally 30 or 40 raw materials that go into making those 40,000 things. So we want to kind of take a step back and go back to our farms and really focus on good food. But our lifestyles have changed obviously in the last 40, 50 years. So our focus is on how do you make it really convenient for people to shop how we used to shop all the 40 years ago. So we are going through a local food revolution, and I don't have to, really convince anyone because we're all excited about local, especially when it comes to food. The open secret in local food is that it's abundantly available. Supply is not an issue. What is an issue is distribution. It's really hard for farmers to reach consumers. Right now, they go to farmers market, they spend the entire day. They don't know who's going to come in, so it's really hard for them. And for customers, it's definitely an issue of time and convenience. Usually we have time to shop at one store. ideally we would like to go to the local bakery and local butcher shop to get the freshest, but most times, more often than not, we don't have time for that. So it's really a problem of distribution and connection, and I think that's where technology is a great fit here, because I can't grow food, but I can write software that connects these entities. And since it's all local, it's perfect, because once you make the connection, then we can move the food. So, okay, there it is. So what did we come up? And basically an online shopping site, a one-stop shop for all things local. So it's farm fresh produce, meat from local farms, your dairy and eggs, so farm fresh milk, a lot of baked goods like bread and pastries from local bakeries. Pantry items, we have over like 400 items including pasta, sauces. And then, and we are working with local restaurants to source like quick meals, not hot meals, but things that you can keep in your refrigerator and heat up. And of course, when the season rolls in, we'll have plants. We also do like pets and gifts like chocolates and flowers. Of course, you'll see a lot of seasonality in the store. So the store looks very different in February versus July, and you know what's happening outside. Unlike a grocery store, you walk in, it looks the same throughout the year. So you'll definitely see a lot of seasonality. So how does this all work? So farmers on a weekly basis, because a lot of it is very seasonal, tell us what they have. It goes on the website, customers shop online. Of course, it works on your phone, your tablet, your laptop, and we get all the orders. And then we tell the farmers what orders came in. So we just get the orders that comes in for the week. So this really helps us be super efficient in the sense that, we don't waste a lot of food and keeps our overhead really low. So finally, we get it to a warehouse where we put it in bags. We don't really store anything at all, more than like overnight when we get it. So you shop between Sunday and Thursday. We get everything on Friday, and then the deliveries go out on Saturday. So you get home delivery. So that's basically 48 hours between the farm to your door. Especially in summer, this makes a big difference because your spinach is literally harvested Thursday or Friday, and you get it on Saturday. So that can't beat things coming from California. So our magic sauce really here is the low overhead. So this helps us be super competitive with prices. As you can see, I don't have a physical store to run. I literally started a grocery store by myself with just a few $1,000s, not millions that needs to go and building a store. So I'm really proud that, this was an innovation on how to cut out the inefficiencies with local food, because how do you distribute that? So as Rachel said, starting in March, actually this week, we're also going to start delivering to local workplaces and businesses. So on a weekday, so you'll get your midweek fresh bread delivery and local food delivery to your workplace. So we want to make it really convenient, and we're also going to do it at childcare centers for parents, who are there picking up their kids anyway. So, what is our vision? So our vision is people shop for their weekly perishable goods here, right? And then once in a while you go to the big box store to pick up, because we still need cereals and things like that. But the good thing with that is it doesn't go bad weekly, unlike your fresh produce or dairy. So what we really envision for people to do is get their fresh local groceries delivered every week, and then once in a month or once in a while, then you go to your big box stores and get your non-perishables. So our focus is definitely good food. It's food that's good for you because it's fresh, it's healthy, it's nutritious, it's biodiverse. So we are very, very proud to offer this food on our website. It's good for the farmers, obviously, because you buy directly from them, so they get a huge share of your food dollars back. A typical grocery store, the farmers get anywhere between 20 cents to 60 cents, 60 being the highest with really good stores like local grocery stores. But we give back 82% or 82 cents for every dollar you spend. So they sell more directly, so they make more out of what they sell. So And of course, it's good for the planet because it's a curated website. Like, we take care of finding these farmers, making sure their growing practices are up to, matches our vision of, organic and sustainable and a closed circuit and biodiverse. So, and then I talked about the delivery. So we do weekly deliveries. It's not just in time. So it's not, you go online, you get it in an hour. I actually think that's pretty bad. So what are we able to really achieve with this? So it's you reduce food wastage by like 10%, and that's really huge because we are talking about a multi-billion-dollar market. A regular grocery store throws away 10% of anything that comes into the store, and their prices are marked up accordingly because they already know they're going to throw away 10%. Madison has done a great job in trying to channel this food waste to local pantries, but there is still a lot more to be desired. And if we talk about rest of America, we are not even there. So we waste a lot of food. If you're lucky, it goes into compost. In most cases, it goes to landfill. So what we are able to do with the weekly deliveries is that because we know exactly what orders came in, we just get that. And farmers are much better equipped to hold that produce in ideal conditions, unlike a grocery store where it's sitting outside. So we're able to reduce food wastage. We reduce grocery miles. I think just in the last few months, we launched in April. So I think we have saved like over 30,000 miles now of people individually driving to grocery stores. It's kind of counterintuitive. People think, oh, it's coming to my door, but that's actually more efficient because our algorithms tell what's the most optimal route for one driver to go across. In fact, we are dense enough that our each delivery is only like half a mile away from each other in Madison. So we have reached that point where it's like really efficient for our drivers to make that quick stops. So we save a lot of miles, and this is in addition to getting local food, which is traveling a few hundred miles compared to a few thousand miles. So, and finally, as I said, because we are so efficient, because our overheads are low, you will see very competitively priced items for the same quality. So as a customer, you do end up saving money by doing good. So I want to kind of touch on the market. So this is about good food and all that, but this is also a huge market. So groceries is one of the biggest markets because everyone has to eat 3 times a day. So it is really a $600 billion market. And the online groceries has been growing. We've come a long way since Webvan, which made people super nervous. It was one of the biggest failures of online groceries, but we've come a long way since then because people are really comfortable shopping online now. So, thanks to Amazon for that. But so the timing is really right. And I think since our overheads are low, I think we do have the magic sauce to make this work. So we are pretty excited to be here at the right place at the right time, and Madison is definitely a good place to start because people are very excited when you tell them what it is. So we got at least that part covered. So some of the common questions we get asked is seasonality because we focus a lot on local food. You'll be surprised how much produce we have with innovations like season extensions, like greenhouses. There's aquaponics, so we still have lettuce. We'll have like tomatoes and cucumbers starting up in a month. So you'll be surprised, like how much the farmers do to extend that season. But we've also had requests because out of this people consume maybe like 5 or 6 things like bananas and oranges. So we've thought about just getting those because that's never going to grow here. So if we can still save grocery miles, just adding those few, we're planning to do that in the near future. And finally, scalability. So I'm going to kind of just, touch on it. So this is definitely a technology company. The software is built to be scalable, but the food is always going to be local. So, when we go to a new city, we'll have this very powerful shopping and the back end to support the operations, but the food will always be sourced local, connecting the local farmers to the local consumers. bad animation, but yeah. So, some of the competitors are definitely, Amazon Fresh, which is the 800-pound gorilla. The DNA of Amazon is to treat everything as commodity, and that's what they do. Food is not really commodity, so I think they've really struggled with that. And our focus is really on fresh food and not really putting them in warehouses and shipping them around. And then there's, Instacart, which has been getting a lot of attention. Instacart, by definition, is adding another link to an already long chain of distribution. Your food typically gets handled by 7 different people between the farm and a grocery store, and Instacart comes in and says, oh, I'm going to be the 8th guy handling this food. So we are really about shortening that chain to literally one. So it's just different. I think they're always going to struggle with the efficiency part of it to make it cost effective. And then finally, there are many mystery box models that you subscribe and then you just get what you get. And some people allow you to swap out things. But what we do is there's no membership, there's no commitment. You shop what you need when you need, because that's part of our vision about waste and things like that. So we want to give you the complete flexibility on what you want to pick. So there is no commitment, you're not subscribing to a box. So it's literally a grocery store that you shop when you need it. And finally, there's all the local grocery stores. We offer more transparency, we offer fresher food, a lot more variety. Any produce you take, like with potatoes, we have like 7 types of potatoes that you would never find in a grocery store. So yeah. This is what our farmers and our customers talk about us. Both of them are really our customers. They both love us because for farmers, they can definitely reach a lot more people. Every product is identified by the farm it comes from. They really appreciate it because they get the credit back. And with every product, if you have a question, click of a button, you can connect with the farmer and ask them about it, be it their growing practice, be it ingredients, whatever it is. So they really appreciate the next best thing to going to the farmer's market is this, because you do have that connection, and we try our best to maintain that. And of course, for customers, they love it because it's convenient. You do have to plan because it comes twice a week and not just in time. But once they get into the schedule, because it's weekly fresh shopping, so once they get into the schedule, they love it, and they discover local products, and we have a lot of them. So people definitely appreciate that chance to see what's there without having to drive to the east side and the west side. I live on the west side. I so miss the east side food diversity. So this has been great because you can get your chocolates from Gale right to your door without having to drive to the east side. And I'll take questions.
So I guess my question is, I have no knowledge of the farm industry. So if I have like 1,000 tomatoes about to be harvested next week, do I come to you? I mean, how does that work when I say I'm gonna commit that I'll give my 1,000 tomatoes to Square Harvest, or I'll give it to Whole Foods? I mean, how does that work in a farmer?
So there's a lot of different options. So if you are a big volume grocery store, you usually have that conversation with the farmer at the beginning of the year to see, okay, so this is what we think our needs will be weekly, and then we'll get that. But it's all not really set in stone, because when we started, obviously we still don't have contracts. But as I said, there's just plenty of food. If you need more food, our farmers will just grow more food if they know there's a need. So supply is not as much of an issue as we've seen, but definitely I know, and that's why bigger grocery stores also like to work with distributors, because they can make those guarantees that we will deliver that. So working with local farmers, you do have that little bit of a learning curve, because they're not as good as predicting like the mega farms, but I don't know if that's necessarily a bad thing, because you need to understand that growing food is not like is not like writing code that you just lock yourself in a room, that there is a lot of nature to it. And the good thing is, customers do understand. Sometimes if we don't get the produce, like we think we're going to get lettuce starting this week, we don't, and they're usually okay with it. So I think there's a little bit of adjustment to expectation, that it's not like you're not going to get it every week, but you also enjoy the variety you get by giving up that. So.
Other questions or comments for Square Harvest?
Well, thanks for sharing your story with us. This is a wonderful space to be in.
I have a few questions. One is, what's your growth been look like since you started? You said April, it's been a few live.
Yeah.
And also a little bit more like an understanding of your business model.
Mm-hmm.
And one last thing for sure in there too is like how you handle complaints. If people have issues with food, who ends up having to deal with that?
Okay, so I'll go backwards. So we have a generous refund policy. So if customers are not happy, we usually do a refund, but we always talk to the farmer or the producer to see where the problem happened. Since we don't handle food for long, it literally comes in and goes out. The number of complaints we get is ridiculously small, and also because the quality of the food we get is so high, and every product is identified by the farm it comes from, so the farmers are very motivated to give us the best produce they have, because we maintain, because it's their credibility also. So I think that's really served us well, that we didn't have to handle a lot of complaints at all, and people are always more than it always meets their expectation or goes beyond their expectations with the quality of food, especially produce, which is the hardest to handle with this, because everything else you kind of know what you're getting. So the number of complaints, I would say, has been low. Our error rates have been really low. I would say like 1 in 1,000 items is kind of where we would we would miss or things like that. So we've gotten to a point the error rates are very low. So again, that's another place to get complaints, but we've gotten to a place where we become very efficient with that. And your second question was the business model. So so our overheads are very low. As I said, we don't have any physical space to maintain. So a typical grocery store, their profit margins are about 4% at most, and that's Whole Foods. If you're talking about like Kruger and things like that, it's like 1%. So it's a razor thin margin, but it's still a lot of money because you're dealing with billions of dollars. So 1% of that is still a lot of money. So what we are hoping is we can raise that to like 8 to 10%, and we are at about like 7-8% now. So, but obviously our scale is smaller, so it's about scaling. But we've been very thrilled with the response so far. I really started with like a group of 15 customers for our pilot launch in April. We went officially live in May, where we shared about the service. So we have, I think, like now 900 customers who have signed up for the service. Obviously, people are not shopping every week because there's no commitment or like there's no weekly thing. But we've been very excited about the growth model, and I think the whole business delivery is going to be good because there's a viral nature to it. You see someone sitting next to you getting that produce delivered, then it's just easier for you to try it. So there are like so I think that's also, we're very excited about the workplace delivery option. Did that answer all your questions? Okay.
Is there an education component to the producers themselves, like why Organic Valley versus Land O'Lakes?
So that's definitely one of my passion because I read a lot about it. There are one of the biggest design components of the website. Let me pull that up because it's easier to. So with every farm gets their own page which talks about their growing practices. So more than just the certified organic label, we also have like things like crop rotation. Like we don't make it very academic because that's not fun. We make it part of your shopping experience. So it's all a click away, be it your dietary needs like gluten-free, dairy-free, all that, but also your philosophical needs of shopping. So they're all a click away, as you can see. If you want to look for certified organic produce, it's over there. Many local farms are not certified organic just because of the cost involved, but they do an excellent job of biodiversity. So the crop rotation is something that indicates that this is a biodiverse farm and they're sustainable. And of course, there's non-GMO that everyone knows about, and then finally pesticide-free. That's like the absolute minimum. Like all our products are pesticide-free. And then once you go in the farm page, every farm has a space to share their story of why they started it and what their growing practices are, in addition to listing all the products they have. So we try kind of make it as part of your shopping experience, and once you want to know more, you can always go dig deeper and see what does that mean. So we have a glossary where you can go find out more information. As I said, it's already pre-curated, so we kind of take up the job of making sure any product that's on the website has already gone through that extra set of eyes to make sure that it's according to our vision. So we would never carry Land O'Flakes. So yeah.
I have a couple questions for you as well. First one is, how do you find the farmers, or do they find you?
It started out, so because I've been shopping locally, so I started out with the 10 farmers that I knew. Now we have about 85. So now on a weekly basis, I get 3 to 5 emails or calls saying I want to be a producer. So how do I participate? So we've kind of gone from me approaching them to that it's now well known enough that people approach us. And even now, if a customer says they want something, we will go look out and see what's the best option there. So.
Great. And the other question is, were you subjected to any kind of regulations or whatever as being like the middle person between the farmer and the customer?
So we did work with the public health department to make sure we're good. But since it's more of since we don't store food, it's all like at most 24 hours. We are not subjected to as many codes, and we don't package, we don't handle food. Everything comes from the farm. We take it from one bag and put it in another bag. So that keeps our overhead low, and I think it's going to help us in the long run with all kinds of things that you need to take care of with food. So yeah, so we make it really simple there.
Any other questions? Oh, Steve.
More of a technical question. How do you handle payments?
So we take credit card, we take PayPal. So all major credit cards and PayPal. You mean for the customers, right? Yeah. Yeah. So they would. It's basically they would shop online. They would go to their cart, hit checkout, and we save your delivery address and things like that. So you would click your payment option. So we do free delivery to all of Madison, Middleton, Fitchburg, and the workplace delivery would be free, but we do charge for some of the suburbs outside. And then you can pay with credit card or PayPal right when you check out.
I know that I've been, sorry to step in here, but I've been putting together a perks program for Nordic employees. And when we surveyed and talked to people, like having a service like this for working professionals is awesome. And the fact that it's free and it doesn't cost the company anything is, I think, a huge selling point for you. And I think there would be a lot of other companies that would be excited about that.
Yeah. So there is a membership for the business delivery though, but it doesn't affect the employees. So it usually comes from their wellness program, and it's $50 a month, so it's not a lot. So yeah.
I had a quick question about the quality of the photos are really nice on there, and I know that when people shop, they don't realize it, but they care more about the quality of photos than they think they do. Who's taking all those nice photos? Those are really nice food, pictures.
Yeah, no, we worked with a local food photographer. So I did some of the styling, and he did the actual photography. And then in the process, I learned how to take photos. So some of the photos are mine also. So it keeps my creative part of the brain also working. Thank you for noticing that. It was a lot of work, but we really enjoyed doing it.
Official now. I was wondering what your staffing model is, and also how are you soliciting customer feedback?
Okay, so we are a very efficient operation. So I have a team of 6 now. who mostly take care of operations and delivery on Saturdays. With customer feedback, every time you get a delivery, you get an automatic notification saying your order has been delivered, and that has a link. And we've had very high hit rate of people responding to what their experience was, and also sharing what they would like to see with new products. And then of course, if they don't like something, then they can file a report. So then we can do refunds or we can address that. But the feedback, because they get that every week, we've always been able to hear back from the customer.
I have one more question.
Sure.
I've ordered delivery from Hy-Vee, and it always comes in plastic bags. So I was wondering what your presentation is in terms of how you're delivering the groceries.
So we use insulated reusable bags. So in summer it has an ice pack, especially because we deal with dairy and meat and all that. If you're home, we would just deliver it to you. If you're not home, we ask that you leave a cooler out. So we would just put it in the cooler. With respect to individual bagging, we eventually want to be zero waste. We're already zero waste with what comes in. So we use paper bags when possible, like potatoes. Most of our big things like cabbages just go in the bag because it is like an insulated bag. But of course, greens and things that our farmers gives us, that still comes in plastic bags. But you would definitely see a lot less plastic with this than a typical grocery delivery.
Any final thoughts or questions? All right, I think this will be our last question of the day.
Well, it's a two-part question. I hope that's okay. My father has a very small organic poultry farm in Judah, Wisconsin. By small, I mean small. Like, is there a minimum size that you need, volumes, quantities to work with a farmer?
Not really. There's definitely product differentiation, as you might understand.
Mm-hmm.
If it's eggs or chicken that we already have, then it doesn't make sense to add another vendor at this point unless we have a demand for it so that everyone makes enough money. But if it is a differentiated product, because we're able to adjust our inventory very closely, we set the inventory so we will never oversell. So the farmer usually might say, like the pullet eggs you saw is a very seasonal product. It literally comes for like 4 or 5 weeks a year, and we get like maybe 50 dozen in, which is not a lot. So we go through them very quickly. But we can exactly say, 50 dozen is all we have. So we will never oversell. It'll just say sold out after that. So we are able to work with very small farms, especially unique products. It gives us a edge over a grocery store, which might require that, I'm going to create shelf space for this, and and so there's a lot of overhead for them, but not for us.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much, and thank you to our sponsors, Nordic and Field 59, and I hope to see you all here next week. Thank you.
Thank you for all the good questions.